Thank you for being here. Thank you all so very much for being here. Continue to share the broadcast as we will get started here in just a little bit. Oh boy. Okay. Well, a very pleasant, good Thursday morning to you. It's day 4 in the search for 5-month-old Kasan Thomas, missing, abducted, here out of Columbus, Ohio, which is exactly where we are right now. Earlier this morning, myself and others have been out searching different parts of the city. On this morning, I took the southeast sec, and others are right now, even as I am speaking to you, they are out pounding the pavement, passing out flyers here in Columbus, Ohio. But it's my understanding that they're also doing this. They're also doing this in Dayton and areas in between as well, and throughout Montgomery County, Ohio. It's cold outside, starting to rain. The winter storm is up on us, and little 5-month-old Kasan Thomas is still missing. Anyone having any information concerning the whereabouts of Kasan Thomas or Nyla Jackson, I urge you in the most extreme ways to pick up that phone and call 614-645-4701 or 614-461-8477. There is an FBI line. I do not have that number. I apologize with me. But these two numbers will work just as well. Five-month-old Kasan went missing 2 days ago now, when his mother was working for DoorDash. She went into a Donato's Pizza to pick up a DoorDash order, left the twin boys in the car. When she went in, the suspect, Nyla Jackson, walked straight out to her car. It was a gift for her. The keys were in the car. Car was running in order to keep the babies warm and everything. She ran off with the car and the babies. Around 4:30 in the morning, authorities found one of the children that had been let out in an airport parking lot. There is video surveillance and other accounts of Ms. Jackson at a UDF, which is like a little corner mart here in the there in the Dayton area. And authorities want everyone to know that despite the rumors that are going around on social media, authorities want you all to know that the vehicle that is being sought in connection with this Amber Alert is still the 2010 Honda Accord 4-door black. This vehicle has paper tags. Sorry. This vehicle has paper tags. One report said the paper tags may be ripped. One report says that the paper tags are, well, they're supposed to be in the back of the window, but sometimes people put the paper tags on the back of the vehicle, so we're not really for sure where the paper tags were. Okay? But since authorities said that it was in the back of the window, we're going to go with that. On yesterday, I listened to the press conference of Chief Elaine Bryant here in Columbus, Ohio. Her and the Ohio Department of Public Safety and other law enforcement agencies were there on yesterday, and they did announce, when I was with you all yesterday, I mentioned that it was getting right about time for the FBI to come in, and they did announce yesterday afternoon that the FBI has now joined in the search for Ms. Jackson and for 5-month-old Kasan Thomas. This is important. Also, there are going to be others coming in, other specialized professionals coming in to help in this search provided by Team Adam there at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Team Adam, they are a group of retired law enforcement officers, okay? They are retired officers who are also dedicated to helping to find missing, abducted, and children involved in human trafficking. Let's get to what I want to talk to you about today, though. Though I remain, okay? I remain confidently, cautiously optimistic. Confidently, cautiously optimistic about the outcome of this case. I do. We just don't know when that's going to take place. Hopefully it will happen sooner, much rather than later. Facts, as I stated, this is day 3. But fact is that this little 5-month-old is still missing. 3 days without his formula. I don't know if he was being breastfed or drinking formula milk. It doesn't matter. 3 days for a 5-month-old to not have the touch of his mother. 3 days of the caring and loving embrace of the mother. You know, a child bonds with the touch and the feel of his or her mother. And a stranger, they will not bond with. I had 4 daughters, here for all of them, raised all of them. And I know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. In the last 3 days, one of the most disturbing and concerning things is that authorities, despite multiple pleas from the mother, the grandmother, despite multiple prayer visuals, both held in Columbus and in Dayton, authorities have not reportedly heard anything from the suspect. Now listen, I am the Amber Alert founder. I'm the person who came up with this ideal back in 1996. I have watched this thing grow and develop to its present day form. And there's very little that I have not seen in the last, January will be 27 years that I've been the Amber Alert founder. And for the authorities not to hear from a suspect, despite multiple pleas, to me, screams 2 things. 1, we know she was homeless. We know she was cash-strapped because she was asking others for cash. Excuse me. She was asking others for cash. And so that suggests to me that she needed cash for gas. She needed cash for food. She needed cash for some kind of provision for the child. The fact that authorities have not heard from her, it suggests to me that A, either she does not have a smartphone that is working or that is on, because you can have a smartphone, but if you don't, if you don't pay your bill, it's not gonna remain on. So we know she was asking for money. We do know that. And the second thing this screams to me is that with all the broadcasts from the television stations out of Columbus and out of Dayton and all the areas in between, she very well may be out of the reach of all of those broadcasts with this child. Possibility. Many things are possible, but that one is a really good possibility. Is that she is out of the zone, she's out of the region of where the broadcasts are going. This is why it is so important to keep sharing these broadcasts about this missing child, about 5-month-old Kasan. Vitally important to keep sharing it. Because right now, the way things stand, there is a statewide Amber Alert here in Ohio. There is a multi-state, every state surrounding Ohio, BOLO, be on the lookout. The difference, the Amber Alert appeals to the general public. The BOLO is an in-house thing for law enforcement. So people outside of Ohio are not getting the information that people in Ohio are getting with the Amber Alert. This is where your sharing is critically important, because you can share across state lines. You can share this Amber Alert across state lines, okay? And let others know what's going on here in Ohio. Many of you have heard that there was a communication lapse by the Columbus Police Department. That lapse was at least about 2 hours and 15 minutes by my count. It took them 2 hours and 15 minutes to contact the Ohio Department of Public Safety. Ohio Department of Public Safety did not get the first call until 11:32. These babies went missing at 9:30. Okay? That communication lapse is on Chief Bryant and the Columbus Division of Police. Because the Ohio Department of Public Safety is the issuing agency here in Columbus. They're the ones who reach out to everyone and get everybody on board and everything. And it is a process. It is a process. But once the Amber Alert is approved, the process from start to finish, and there are a lot of things that has to take place. There are phone notifications. There are message boards. There are other just multiple things that have to take place, which all in all takes about 45 minutes to an hour. Now, does it take 45 minutes to an hour for an Amber Alert to be put out? No. Okay? They start putting it out. Once they may start with the phone and then continue going to the message boards and then continue going to lottery machines and then going to all type of things and so forth. It's a massive undertaking. But once they got it, within 45 minutes to an hour, the Amber Alert was issued. I bring that up because that first couple of hours, within the first 2 hours, the suspect was seen. The suspect was seen at a UDF store on camera asking an employee for money to buy some items. Okay? And had that employee been alerted with an Amber Alert an hour sooner, I wouldn't be standing before you right now giving you this update. But that employee in that store did not know. At that time, the Amber Alert had not been issued because of a lapse in communication. She was able to escape. These are the hard facts. Those are the facts. So authorities have not heard from Miss Jackson. And some of you would say, well, which is more important? That authorities find the child or that they hear from Ms. Jackson? This may shock some of you, but I want you to hear me out. Right now, it is critically important that authorities find Mrs. Nyla Jackson. Okay? Authorities want to find Mrs. Nyla Jackson while she is alive. Because, God forbid, if Nyla Jackson does something to herself and authorities find her deceased, we may never find out where this baby is. That's a fact. That's a hard fact. I've seen this down through the years as Amber Alert founder. I've seen this with out of Washington, D.C. Excuse me. Out of Washington, D.C. with Relisha Rudd, another African-American girl. Situations are very similar. There was, mother was homeless, living in a shelter. allowing the children to, to go and stay with someone else. But in that case, authorities found the suspect deceased, and it's been it's been many years now, too many years, and Relisha is still missing. People say, I can't believe anybody would do anything harmful to a 5-month-old. Again, let me rely on my experience as Amber Alert founder. Down through the years, we have found and recovered people. When I say we, I'm speaking of the Amber Alert. Has found kids that have been tossed in dumpsters, deceased. Amber Alert has found kids that had been tossed into trash bags and discarded like a piece of trash on the side of the road in Arkansas. That child was missing out of Houston. As Amber Alert founder, I have heard and learned of kids being found stuffed inside of chimneys of a vacant house. And that was right here in Ohio. It has been said, if you want to know how something is supposed to work, go to the originator of it. You want to know how this Amber Alert is truly supposed to work? What the original intent of the Amber Alert is? Talk to me. Call me, message me, email me. I'll tell you how it's supposed to work. Something I want to say before I forget it. This Amber Alert, a lot of people here in Ohio and in other parts of the country, a lot of people here that, when they need an Amber Alert, then they learn about the fact of there's a criteria for the Amber Alert. And there is a criteria for the Amber Alert to be issued. But let me suggest to you, in the press conference on yesterday, a lot of talk was made about let's see here. A lot of talk was made about the criteria of the Amber Alert. And yes, there is a criteria to it. But let me remind you, this criteria for the Amber Alert has been successfully navigated by law enforcement all over the world for the last 26, and January will be 27 years. 27 years. Law enforcement has been able to successfully navigate the Amber Alert criteria, the Amber Alert process, here in the United States and around the world, to the tune of north of 1,200 children have been rescued because law enforcement all over the world know how to navigate the Amber Alert process. So all of this talk back and forth, passing the buck, kicking the ball down the street, kicking the can down and they kicking back about, well, the problem was the criteria. No. The problem in this case was not the criteria. The problem in this case was the lapse in communication by the Columbus Police Department. Police departments worldwide, all of them, have to undergo the same process. Wherever they are in the world, they have to undergo their same process. And it's working for them. It has worked many a times here in Columbus, Ohio. But something happened the other day that totally botched this Amber Alert. And now what we have here in Columbus, with all these people coming in and everything, what we have here is chaos. That's what we have. We have chaos right now. You got the CPD saying that saying that the Ohio Department of Public Safety didn't do something. Ohio Department of Public Safety said no. If we'd have gotten a call earlier from CPD, we could have gotten the alert out. So they're kicking the can back and forth. But what really matters is this child is still missing. So, the way it is supposed to operate, when I created this Amber Alert back on January 15th, 1996, when I created this Amber Alert, I created it with the intent of eyes and ears being put on every corner when authorities made it known to the public that a child was missing. Just like they do when a tornado or a hurricane or whatever is coming into the region. They break into everything and to alert everybody as to what is happening or what's coming. That's what I did back then. And that is still the original intent. Now, over the past 27 years, a lot has been tweaked with the Amber Alert through Senate legislators and so forth. Some changes have been made. That's why it's important that wherever you're watching this broadcast from, you need to know what the protocol is for Amber Alerts in your neck of the woods. Because let me tell you something, and a lot of people don't know this. The question was asked yesterday, well, why can't we just issue a nationwide Amber Alert? There is no nationwide Amber Alert. Okay? What there is, let me explain this. What there is each state in the United States of America and all of its territories now have the Amber Alert concept. Okay? Everybody has it. And everybody will use it when they need to use it. But is there a button or a one magic criteria that says that this can be a nationwide thing? No. What is available, okay? I want you to hear me close. What is available is what is called a multi-state Amber Alert. Say, for instance, Ohio. Okay, Ohio has an Amber Alert. They can request other states as long as they meet the criteria of those other states. They can request other states join them in this Amber Alert as long as Ohio's criteria fits into the criteria of the other states. Sadly, here in Ohio, we learned that that request was made for the Amber Alert to go around in the adjoining states of Ohio, and each state denied it. They denied it. I have my reasons why they denied it, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But each state denied it. Well, I'll say this. One of the reasons, no doubt, that they denied it is that it was a hot mess coming their way. Okay? You got confusion, you got chaos, and you want our state to participate in your confusion and chaos? I wouldn't take it either. And I think that's just my opinion, okay? Don't run off with that some other way. But I think if you're coming at me with a hot mess, I'm not gonna take it either. So, since they couldn't get the Amber Alert out, they put out the BOLO, which is basically an inter-law enforcement department memorandum to all of the states surrounding Ohio. And it works pretty good. It does. I'll give it that. It works pretty good. Okay. Now, I mentioned that all the other states surrounding Ohio denied issuing an Amber Alert in their neck of the woods for this child. But watch this. This is why social media is so important. This is why sharing broadcasts like this and sharing Amber Alerts on social media is so important. Because when there's red tape, like what is going on right now here in this Columbus chaos, you can simply, on Facebook or other social media forums, share it to people in other states and ask them to share it to people in other states. And oh yeah, knowledge of this will be in all 50 states. It already is, okay? Law enforcement just couldn't do it the way that they wanted to do it. But I'm confident that this information is already in all 50 states. I know because I shared it myself some 300 or 400 times to partners that partner with us. But there is nothing. If you are mad, look at me. If you're mad and you're angry about how all of this has turned out, get your tablet, hit the share button, share it with others and ask them to share it with others and ask them to share it with others and ask them to share it with others. Oh yeah, the power is still in your hand, okay? The power is still in your hand to help make a difference through the power of sharing, okay? Authorities have already put out a BOLO. So with the BOLO being out and citizens sharing, oh yeah, if somebody sees it, they can call it. Even like Chief said the other day, Chief Bryant said the other day, even if they're not, even if you're out of state, you think you see something, call, okay? Just call. Participate in the process. Because in that, you are still helping police to solve this issue. Once again, there is nothing that prevents citizens from sharing this Amber Alert across state lines. If you're mad, share. Okay? I know, yesterday during the press conference, I mean, man, I was watching. And I mean, people were slamming the Amber Alert and they were saying all nasty things about the Amber Alert and everything. And listen, y'all, okay? I'm human and I have feelings too, okay? We don't live in a perfect world. We try to make things better. We have made things better for more than 12 or 1,300 children, 1,300 families. We've tried. But to be, smashing and talking about, and I mean, it has gotten so to the point. I learned yesterday that my wife told me that that people very close to us were calling and checking on me to make sure that I was okay, because people are saying such harsh things and it's on every news channel and people seem like people are talking to everybody but me. And I'm the one they need to be talking to. You really want to know how a thing is supposed to work? Talk to the originator of it. But please understand that I do have feelings. I do have emotions. Please understand that I do have children. I have grandchildren who watch, who hear, who see the news. Before coming into the studio, my granddaughter was asking me, Grandpa, are you going to go do another update? I said, yes, baby, I'm going to go do another update. Okay? I have family too. Okay? I didn't botch this thing up. What I presented to the nation and to the world was perfect. What I presented to them was perfect. It was so perfect, it took somebody in the Columbus Division of Police to mess it up. That's how perfect it was. And it still is. For almost 26 or 27 years, law enforcement worldwide, I'm going to let that sink in again. For almost 26 or 27 years, law enforcement worldwide have successfully navigated the Amber Alert process, including right here in Columbus, Ohio. Here's what law enforcement is trying to do. Here's on a much larger scale. Here's what some other people who are trying to make a name for themselves, I guess, trying to do. They are trying, and I know I'm taking my time with this because I want y'all to really hear my heart and hear what I'm saying. What they're trying to do is they're trying to project where a suspect may be going. Okay? They're trying to project that a suspect may be going left, or project that a suspect, if he took the northbound exit, well, he must be heading up towards, Michigan. Well, he could have took the northbound exit and took the next exit and came back southbound and be going the other way. And because they have now started trying to project where a suspect is going, there have been a number of kids, a number of families have been disappointed because authorities simply lost their kids because they projected a suspect was going to go one way or another. Truth of the matter, I have worked cases. I have worked certain Amber Alert cases where it was just like that. They projected somebody was going to be heading north up to Michigan, and I looked at all the data that was available to me, and I said, no, they're not going north. These people are going south. Can I announce to you, while the projection said north, that child was found south in Georgia. Just a couple of weeks ago, they tried to project again that 3 kids right here, again, out of Columbus. 3 kids out of Columbus, Ohio, missing. Subject of an Amber Alert. Okay? They projected that they must be still in the area because they didn't have any reason to believe that they would leave the area. Can I announce to you, this just happened last week. Can I announce to you, they found those 3 kids. What is today? I think they found those 3 kids last Friday or Saturday in southern Florida in a routine traffic stop. So it's important. It's important that we continue to share, get this information out, because while some are stuck on smelling their projection sauce, some of us have been doing this longer than some of these kids behind the controls. We've been doing it. I've been the Amber Alert founder in January. It'll be 27 years. Some of these cats who are in law enforcement now, they were in junior high school when I became the Amber Alert founder. So I think I might bring a little something to the table, even though It's 27 years later. There's a lot that has been obtained in those 27 years. Let me do this here. Here's the next thing I want to talk about real quickly. I want to try to speed on here. If the suspect is not responding to the multiple pleas from the family and law enforcement, that means two things. She's either beyond the broadcasting area or deceased. She's either beyond the broadcasting area or deceased. Hopefully, she's just beyond the broadcasting area. Because if the suspect, Nyla Jackson, is deceased, that takes this Amber Alert to a whole different level. And we may not ever find this child. If authorities find the suspect deceased, it severely hinders the chances of finding this child. Here in Columbus, Ohio, Police Chief Elaine Bryant, I love her. I love her. She has really reached out into the community and through community engagement initiatives, and just this past Thanksgiving they gave out a bunch of turkeys and so forth, and I think they gave out 500 turkeys or something like that. It was something, but she was a very integral part of that. Shopping with the cop here for Christmas, very integral part of that. But since Police Chief Bryant has been the police chief here in Columbus, Ohio, there have been now 2 big cases here in Columbus that still, to this day, remains unsolved. 2 big cases that police chief, under her watch, has not been resolved. The first case was just last year, shortly after she became the police chief, probably about a month or 2 after she became the police chief. A father, just 2 miles from where I'm standing right now, a father and his 2 children were sitting in a car, and they were assassinated. I mean, I don't know how many gunshots. They were assassinated while sitting in their car. The father and 2 small babies in the back were assassinated. Okay? Deputy Police Chief Potts came out, and I mean, she was livid, and she expressed her raw emotions about that case. But here we are, more than a year later, not one arrest has been made in that case. And this is under Chief Bryant's watch. Not one arrest has been made in that case. And so now we fast forward to this Amber Alert. Again, under Chief Bryant's watch. This Amber Alert, the lapse in communication, happened in her department. She wasn't there, but she's the chief. And now we got 1 baby back, but the goal was not 1 baby. The goal is both children. So we really need little 5-month-old Kasan Thomas, to be found. If for no other reason, and I'm sure there are many other reasons, but Columbus needs the confidence of knowing that our police chief can solve the big crimes too. Okay? Columbus is watching. Kids in Columbus are watching. Why is it taking so long for this Amber Alert to be resolved? Mama, why is it taking so long for this Amber Alert to be resolved? Well, they made a mistake at the police department. Well, are they going to find the baby? Well, they found one. We hope that they're going to find the second one. Our children are watching. Our children are watching. Kudos to all of those who right now, as I stand here in front of these cameras, are out walking the streets or driving the streets looking for this 5-month-old or the suspect. Last thing I want to say about Chief Bryant, I want things to turn around for her. I think she will do well for Columbus, but she's got to get her footing on the ground, y'all. I'm not a chief basher. I'm not. I wish nothing but the best for her in her tenure here in Columbus. But we got to start solving some of these big cases, y'all. Chief Bryant mentioned that she was going to deal with the lapse in communication internally. I want to say this and then I'm done. She said she's going to deal with the lapse in communication internally. I think there needs to be more transparency to this issue. Mr. Mayor Andrew Ginther, whom I love and I appreciate as well, there needs to be community-wide transparency. We need to know who it was that dropped the ball or who it was that wasn't where they were supposed to be to pick it up. Somebody for 2 hours allowed something to sit somewhere, allowed nothing to be done for 2 hours. And in that very same 2 hours, people were seeing the suspect, got her on videotape, but they didn't know that she was the subject of an Amber Alert. We need to know who was on duty, name, rank, okay, badge number. City of Columbus has a citizen review board, okay, to review police shootings and other critical matters. I am calling for that same citizen review board. Pastor Rich Nathan and others, I am calling for that same citizen review board to review the process from start to finish, the TikTok from start to finish, and make recommendations as to how the Columbus Division of Police can improve on this going forward. The Ohio Department of Public Safety has invited the members of the Columbus Division of Police to come to them as they offer training to police departments. They offer training to the police departments. The training is there. That's what Ohio Department of Public Safety said. I think they said it last night or this morning is when I read it. They said, we offer training. We welcome any department that wants to send officers to us. We will train them on the Amber Alert process. Seems like to me the only one that got it right in this whole chaos was the initial officer who went to the scene, took the report, filed the report and filed it and shared it with his superiors. And there it sat for 2 hours. Sat for 2 hours. During that time, the suspect was seen, spoken to. They said the suspect was even in the bathroom for almost a half hour at the UDF. Okay. Just imagine if that Amber Alert had been out like it was supposed to have been. Okay. We would have our suspect, and there's a mother who would have her second child. Okay. In closing, I want to say this. Some of y'all say, well, you're saying a lot of things and so forth, and you're depending upon your experience and so forth. Listen, in the last 27 years, I cannot tell you how many Amber Alerts I have personally worked. What I do now, after creating the Amber Alert and watching it grow and watching and being a proud papa of it, what I do now is I do what some people would consider being a watchdog over police departments nationwide. Whenever an Amber Alert is issued, I watch it and make sure that everything is being done proper. That is, that can be done. And by and large, 97% of police departments, they know what to do. And I believe the Columbus Division of Police knows what to do. But somebody dropped the ball the other night. And because they dropped the ball, there's a child that is still missing. I'm not fussing, I'm just discussing. These are the hard facts. Again, if you want to know how something is supposed to operate, go to the person who created it. I can talk to you all day about this, okay? And what's supposed to be and what isn't supposed to be. Anyone having any information concerning the whereabouts of 5-month-old Kasan Thomas, you're being asked to call area code 614-645. Okay? 614-645-4701. Or you can call Crime Stoppers, 614-461-8477. I have come into the knowledge that there's been some talk about someone is putting up a reward, but as is our policy here at the Amber News Network, we do not endorse rewards as an enticement. We do not do that nor does Columbus Police Department. You can probably find out more about a reward, if there is one, through Crime Stoppers, which would be that second number, 614-461-8477. The problem with rewards, and I have experienced this personally, problem with rewards is that if you share about a reward and the person or persons that are claiming to be responsible for that reward do not pay up, they can come after you. Okay? And so we just, here at the Amber News Network, we just decided that, we don't engage in rewards or anything at all like that. You can do your own search, make heads or tails of that. But our reward is going to be, let's bring little 5-month Kasan home. Let's bring him home. Let's bring him home. Let's bring him home. I believe the next, especially here in the Columbus-Dayton area, the next couple of days are going to be critical, very critical. Brutal winter weather is up on us now. They are telling us here, I listened last night and again this morning, they're telling us here that we could be experiencing snow and temperatures as cold as 30 below zero. 30 below zero. And that suggests to me that anything that's outside is going to be trying to get inside somewhere. Shelters are going to be filling up. Homeless shelters are going to be filled to the max. But they too will be on the lookout for Nyla Jackson and Kisan Thomas. That's going to tell us a lot. Because if she doesn't frequent a shelter, okay, if she doesn't frequent a shelter, there may be someone who is assisting her in this endeavor. And if you're watching, I'm going to close with this. I'm a preacher, so you know I got to have at least 3 closes. Anyone, listen here, anyone assisting Nyla Jackson, allowing her to run and assisting or facilitating her in hiding from law enforcement with this child, or just hiding from law enforcement. I spoke about this with an FBI agent about a year ago. Spoke with that FBI agent and I asked them, what is the penalty for someone aiding and abetting somebody who is being sought by law enforcement? And she told me the penalty for aiding and abetting someone who is fleeing from law enforcement, who is being sought, is up to 20 years in federal penitentiary. So before you think about helping her any longer, I want you to understand what you're doing, okay? Every day that you help her, you could face up to 20 years. Okay? If you know where she is, do the right thing. Call 911 here in Columbus or outside of the Columbus metropolitan area. You can call 614-645-4701 or Crime Stoppers at 614-461-8477. Once again, my name is Pastor Charles Williams, and I am the founder and the creator of the concept known and used all over the world today, and I'm very proud of it, no matter what people say, no matter how people talk about me, no matter how they try to discredit or how they try to make me feel like, oh, you hadn't created nothing, or what you created, see, it ain't working now, or whatever. No, it is working. What I created was perfect. It took other hands to mess it up and create the chaos that we're going through right now in Columbus. God bless you. We'll talk to you when we get some more information. I'm sure there's going to be another update here by PD here in about a couple hours, but our out time is 1:55 on the east, 12:55 central, 11:55 mountain, 10:55 Pacific, 9:55 if you've been watching us from Alaska, and from Hawaii it's 4 minutes until the hour of 8 o'clock. Good morning to those of y'all in Hawaii. But we're talking about 30 below zero temperatures here in Ohio? No. Yeah, oh, Hawaii. Okay. God bless. We'll talk to you all next time now.